First of all, does everybody have a piece of paper in front of you? Does everybody have a pen in front of you? So I'm going to leverage off of some great things that have been said. So design thinking to me is a wank. And so design doing is everything, though. If you're a designer, it's all about doing. It's about, so I've seen people that read books on design thinking, then they turn around, they give a slide presentation. I want to pull up my hair. So my hat's off to Emily. She's also a graduate from the College of Design, so she knows exactly what I'm talking about. How many inventors in the room? Wrong answer. Let's try it again. How many inventors in the room? How many inventors in the room? Thank you very much. Thank you. Because we're born to invent. It's what we do. We are all inventors. You don't need a degree. You don't need a blessing. And the more so I'm a professor of innovation and design at NC State. But I'm coming to the point, and well, step on some toes here, but I'm coming to the point where I feel like education is giving feathers to Dumbo, right? Because Dumbo can fly. And we're living in the 21st century where we have the new version of Gutenberg. And so we really have a lot of information at our behest, and we can leverage it. And I think institutions, maybe not Duke, but I think a lot of institutions are going to go away as we learned to provide information on a timely basis and let people educate themselves. So you've got a pen, you've got paper in front of you. Can you do what your cavemen forefathers did on the cave walls that we saw about earlier and just start doodling and sketching as I talk and maybe capture some of what I'm telling you in pictographs? But I'm also going to give you a little bit of an assignment. So this is just a warm-up exercise. Did everybody get a piece of this really cool material? Okay, don't play with it yet. So what you have here, if you look at it in cross-section, why are we smiling? Because we're anticipating with delight, yes? Do you know what that is?
No, but it doesn't smell so good.
Oh my God. All right. Out of here. Go get some perfume in the dispenser and come back. No, okay, it doesn't smell so good, but it's really cool. So if you look at it in cross-section, part of what we do as inventors is we have to play with new materials, right? This is an epoxy material. So you have to peel that little plastic off of it. Don't do it yet. Don't do it yet, because this stuff sets up in 5 minutes. It turns into a rock. So what I'd like you to do is doodle and sketch and make a little thing. Now, does everybody have a paper clip too? Do you have a paper clip at hand? Yeah, everybody has a paper? Who doesn't have a paper clip? I've got some dearth of paper clips. And we may pass that string around too, although the string we can get at the end. But here's what you're going to do. I want you to sketch a little thing, and you're going to then transform this. Anybody ever play with putty, with clay, or Play-Doh? So this is Play-Doh. Think about this as Play-Doh that turns into stone. So the first thing you've got to do when you're ready, not yet, is to munge this together. Get the two pieces mixed thoroughly, then it will set like a stone in 5 minutes. So what you've got to do is do a sketch first of what you're thinking of doing. And then mix this up, mold it into a thing, put a little hole through it so you can wear it around your neck. It's going to be your medallion. And it's just going to be a little example of making and doing, of exercising intent. Because the fastest way from the mind's eye is to draw or to make. But you can make mistakes on paper. I can build an entire product with an exploded view or render it up so it looks photorealistic. I can draw that on paper. I can show it to somebody. They can say, I'll buy it. So I can sell an idea on paper. But anybody can learn to draw. This is what we do at the College of Design. So I'm asking you to take what skills that you have now and just do a little doodle, as I did here. Do we not have this? Can't we get it? Okay, so you might want to go into preferences on display and just set it up to do both. Anyway, just a little sketch or a little doodle, maybe do a side view and a profile view so you've got a sense of what you want to do, and you can do it while we talk and possibly even get these slides up. All right, well, we're going to just make the best of this, folks. So design thinking, the first tenet of design thinking is empathy. And so I had a little empathy. I'm thinking of coming here, I'm thinking of presenting, and I wanted to do something that would put you into the design thinking mode. So please do a sketch, do a little doodle, and when the time is right, you can go ahead and mix the putty up, shape it, and watch it get hard. But make sure you give it a good mix, and then get it to where you want it, make sure that there's a place. Now you also have a paper clip, so you might want to bend the paper clip and snap it off and use it as an armature. Be creative and have some fun. I'll be talking up here if you're wondering where I am. So question everything. We say in design thinking or in design process is really what we're talking about. Just so you know, design thinking is a term IDEO gave to design process so they could make money off of the entire thing, right? So really the designer, the problem solver, questions everything. And so, you know, you see something like this fine model here. This is about what our galaxy looks like, yes? We agree? Kind of like, I mean, the scale might be off, and there certainly aren't little ellipses sitting in space, but that kind of works, yeah? Anybody question this? Well, you should. When you see this model, it's a little bit different, and everything's different now, yeah? Right? We're going at about 500,000 miles an hour, and then look at the little attendant pieces of dust. That's your planet. You're sitting on one of them. It changes scale. We're a very fragile thing, we pieces of stardust traveling in time and space. So my position over at NC State is one I'm wrestling with, to be honest with you. When I have classes, I ask if anybody has these. They all pull them out, and I say, well, okay, because we're all kind of equal at this point. Because I can see a thought bubble over these 20-somethings heads, and they're wicked smart. And I know a thing or two about the world, but so do they. So let us start learning from one another. This notion that I'm a professor and I know more than you do may not hold water in the near future, may not hold water now. So for me, it's a homecoming to Duke University. Just to give you a little bit of history, I was a heavyweight wrestler on a full wrestling scholarship here. My nemesis was over at NC State. I'm 6'6", 218 back in the day. Tab Thacker, 6'5", 450 pounds. I studied, got 3 degrees here, functional morphology, structure and function of biological systems. So think biomimicry under Steve Wainwright. I also got a degree in mechanical engineering, and I got a degree in fine art. So you might go, well, how the hell do those go together? But they go together beautifully. So if I'm doing a dissection and I can draw the thing, I might look at that condyle and go, oh my God, that's great mechanical advantage. And let me go make a crane that can lift with that kind of efficiency, right? So it was a fantastic time here at Duke. I come from a family of 7 up in Baltimore, so I used to go to Alaska and run a fishing cannery. There I'd get paid $10,000 to $15,000 a summer, so I made money to go to graduate school. And I studied Renaissance architecture and urban design while at Duke, trying to find out what my future holds. And then I did an independent study at NC State in industrial design. So I took those majors that I got at Duke, and I went to the field of industrial design, which allows you to do anything. Visuals, graphics, models, but you're basically designing for mass production. I took a little respite, went over to Kenya, East Africa. I designed for Betty Leslie Melville, depicted on the left here, feeding the giraffe through the front window of her house. And I designed this sanctuary building outside Nairobi, Kenya. I don't know if anybody's ever been to. I see a nod here. So it's become one of the, I didn't know this, but I designed this back in like '82, and then somebody tells me, oh, I've been to that place. And this is like 1995 or 2000. I didn't realize it had gotten, traction, but while I was there, I got engaged with my first business partner, and then we started an angel and an incubator and an angel investment group, and made some really great products. So my wife actually is a Dookie, and her parents were Dookies. And then, of course, these are our children who are pretty famed entrepreneurs. They are the band Delta Ray. I don't know if anybody's heard of Delta Ray, but probably the second biggest out of the Avett brothers. They're probably one of the bigger bands out of North Carolina, and they've played on some pretty sophisticated stages for some pretty sophisticated folk. Maybe you've seen them on Conan O'Brien or Jay Leno, or they played here in North Carolina for the First Lady, and they've been all around the world and on Seth Meyers. So I bring this up because my children are pretty successful entrepreneurs as well. I was national media specialist at Apple Computer, and I'm on the original QuickTime team. I've invented literally hundreds of products. I ran an invention group in San Francisco, and what we did was dependent upon drawing. Our sketches led to $1 million products, and we would draw on paper and present them then to each other, and we'd say, that's a good idea. Well, I don't know about that, but that's a good idea. And then we'd cull the good ideas, and then we'd render them up. So a sketch like this, let's see, where are you? So a sketch like this, I would pass it around. Maybe I did a couple sketches, and so there's another sketch that looks like this, and I'm telling people, look, the aerodynamic features of this car, you pull it back, you let it go, and just as the car comes to the end of the table, pew, the aerodynamic pieces fold out, become a plane, and jump off the car. And in the ideation session, well, that's a good idea. Well, it turns out to be better than a good idea. We render it up, we present it, people say yes, and you get a multi-million-dollar line out of it. So this is what we do, is we've done it hundreds of times, we've put lots of products in the market, and this is my most successful product to date, and this is the Smart Cycle, the best-selling new product in the history of Fisher-Price Mattel. And it's on the first page of the New York Times, and it won every accolade in the toy industry, including 2 Toddies, which are the Emmys for the toy industry, Toy of the Year awards for education and for innovation. I was named Mattel's Inventor of the Year, and I've got a number of patents and a few $1 million. They've made hundreds of millions of dollars on this project, so I licensed this concept to a very large toy company. And part of my message is what's been echoed here is, who am I? So when I say who's an inventor in this room, everybody's hand, now who's the best inventor in this room? We don't know, but it may not be me. I'm willing to bet you it's not. But I'm the guy that goes into the shop, takes that putty, munges it up, cuts the gears on a thing, and sends it off, knocks on a door. That's the only thing keeping you from me, is the willingness to get out there and do. So that's part of the big message here. And I had a couple of slides in my deck too, to leverage what Greg said. 40,000 years ago, we've got cave paintings, yeah? Now watch what happens. 10,000 years later, almost the same thing. But we're doing fascinating things as cavemen, right? The cavemen got us to where we are, but the fact that we can make our own tools, that we have dominion over, that plant will make me sleepy, I carry fire in a thing, I know how to throw a spear, I've got group behaviors that protect me. All of this stuff is valuable. Now, we've lost a lot of that, but we've replaced it with other stuff. Look what happened 12,000 years ago. We scratched the ground, we planted a seed, and that caused division of labor, right? Because now somebody will tend to the crops while somebody goes out hunting. And how are we going to get those crops watered? Well, there's this thing called irrigation. And how do we protect them from the deer? There's this thing called fences. And we start inventing and creating clever ideas. But we are on an asymptotic trajectory, the likes of which we've never seen. And it's an exciting time right now for all of us. So I'm really here to encourage you to draw on the inventor within and quite literally take that pencil and sketch, because now that the internet has met the mobile platform, we are in a brave new world. So has anybody got a sketch to the point where they're liking it? Has anybody mixed the putty yet? Did it turn to stone yet? Does it feel it? It gets pretty hard pretty quickly, yeah? Okay, so I think, let me see, what else? I put a couple of things more in here. So anyway, we've never seen the growth of products. We're truly a global nation, a global world now, right? We put a product on the market and Apple makes $18 billion a quarter. Who does that? We do it now. I just got back from China, and they're sorely needing some of the leadership that we're developing here. If we look at this design process, this thing called design thinking that IDEO created, it is exactly the process that we learn in design school and we've been learning for years and pretty much do intuitively. But it really starts with this notion of empathy. And the idea of getting into a problem, you have to do research, you have to examine it, but you've got to do more than that. You've got to get into the problem. You've got to be the problem. You've really got to understand it from all sides. You've got to be the customer, you've got to be the user, you've got to be the product on the assembly line, because all of these things will give you an idea as to how the product could be better manufactured, better implemented. But all of these things that they've delineated, it's a lot messier than that. And these things are all very interconnected. So when I see a diagram like this, I cringe because I work a lot of problems out and I'm jumping between these succinct little boxes, and I find it a little bit troubling. And so I really do encourage, as a couple of other presenters have done, to draw, to sketch, to doodle. And if you would like to learn to draw better, I would say take a course in drawing, but then I want to check myself and say, don't take a course in drawing, pull up an ideation video on YouTube, because there are hundreds of them. People will show you how to draw in perspective. They'll break it down for you, and then just break out some paper and do what they're doing. And you'll find, oh my God, now I can draw in perspective. Oh my God, now I can draw that thing that's in my head. And if you can draw that thing that's in your head, you have a better chance of making it. Or if you get pretty good at drawing, you can do as we did. We would sell $1 million ideas off of a drawing. Imagine that. So these are just, but we did tons and tons of ideation. These are just some of the, I just pulled some photographs together to show the kinds of stuff that our sketches and drawings would lead to. And then we, with these boards and these renderings, we would go and pitch these to toy companies. Now, we did a lot more than toys. We did a lot of very cool high-tech stuff, some of which I can't show. We did Google Glass at the same innovation place. So, but it doesn't matter. The process is the same. If you can sketch it, then you can make it. If you can sketch it in such a way that it makes sense, that the assembly makes sense, then you can go and build it. So as an inventor, this notion of design thinking is one that's exemplified. And we had a clever little video here, but I'm pressed for time, and I think I'm just going to cut to the chase. Here are some inventions, and give you an idea. Look at Kaboing here on the left. So salad bowls, plumbing pipe. You see the salad bowls upside down? You see the plumbing pipe, right? Blue plumbing pipe. Got some nice balls. I used some acrylic adhesive. Worked great. And we almost sold this. I cut the thing off of another toy because it had some bobbles that a child might like. But a toy company just wants to see a good concept. They'll take it and run if they like what they see. So just when we go shopping, we do things a little bit differently, much like you're playing with a, what is this stuff for? It's, is it a plumber's adhesive that you're playing with right now, this epoxy? I mean, it has an intended use, and you're not doing it for that, but it's okay. This is another patent I applied for the fun exercise bike, the FXB. We're taking a game controller and we're basically mounting it on a standard exercise bike. So if you played Mario Kart with this bike, you know how you're in that first-person chasing mode, and if you put that controller on that bike and play Mario Kart, it's like, oh my God, I'm going so fast. And you lose the fact that I'm exercising while I'm also playing this really fun game. So in this case, we didn't have a kid on a FXB, so I took a picture of a kid holding a controller on a bike. Then I photoshopped him out. I photoshopped the existing exercise machine in, and I then put the blue accoutrement and my logo on it, and I defy you to tell the difference between the real McCoy. So, you can build a product by drawing or by photoshopping, or we call this Frankensteining. You can even go shopping for photographs online and take these found objects and turn them into something like my concept for a private eye. Now, here's a pocket-sized personal computer that gives you a full keyboard and a full 60-inch monitor in front of your eyes. Right, a little bit different, maybe for a vertical market, maybe for somebody that's doing private legal documents. They need the documents right up here. They need a full screen because they're avid typers, right? A little bit different spin on it. But I'm just trying to underscore the different tools that are available, and then if you get sophisticated or if you know somebody, I'm a lacrosse player from Duke too, played lacrosse and when I wasn't wrestling. But the problem with lacrosse sticks is the pocket's adhesed to the plastic head. The plastic head often breaks. So lacrosse players will often have a backup stick, which is never their favorite stick. But if I could swap pockets with my swap pocket technology, I could disengage the pocket, adhese it to a new head, and assemble basically all the exact parts. Yeah? Any lacrosse players in the room? We're at Duke. Anyway, so has anybody finished the exercise? Has anybody not finished the exercise? Raise your hand if you haven't finished the exercise. Don't make me come back there.
Are we supposed to start with the funny of it?
Well, yes, I gave you a license. You don't need permission, you're an inventor. Okay. So I think I'm done. Are we going to do Q&A? I think we'll do a Q&A afterwards, or? Yeah? Okay. Well, thank you very much. My job here is done.